inside. Stop struggling against my demons. Stop taking life as fiction. Eddie, burn, burn, burn. Burn the pain, burn the lies, burn the fear inside myself, and burn it all again. It's the right time to escape this cage I've been locked in for so long. It's not where I belong. Let it burn, burn, burn into the ground.
Hey, I'm Rick, and this is Burn After Reading. This video is a quick response to the Prosecutors Podcast series on the West Memphis Three. If you've been following their series, it might be a surprise that they've concluded the three are not guilty. I, for one, wasn't surprised at all. I was skeptical of the duo from the very beginning. Co-host Alice didn't completely rule out guilt, but believes there wasn't enough evidence, a position two separate juries would disagree with. The other host, Brett, believes they are flat out innocent, although he is open to listening to other arguments to see if it could change his mind. They both seem to base their conclusions on a lot of conjecture instead of letting the evidence, both from the trial and outside of it, speak for itself. But I want to focus on two particular reasons why Brett finds them not guilty and why I believe that's grossly flawed. Number one, Brett thinks the slapping incident alibi exonerates Jesse Miskelly. Let's get into that. Brett pins way too much on that. The slapping incident of a little boy occurred around 5 o'clock p.m., and while Jesse could have been there, at least in part, it's no alibi. There's no reason to believe his alibi witnesses for 6:30. Clearly the jury didn't either. But for some lame-ass reason, this is just compelling to Brett, a man with prosecutorial experience. One of the witnesses, Stephanie Dollar, admits she wasn't sure of the date or time until she went to get her report, then locks into 6:30 p.m. She mentions an Officer Stone and 3 cars. The named officers who testified about the call, they do not match her specifics, and at least one officer said his car was never in her driveway, contradicting her "I took Jesse to the car" story. Multiple officers on scene later said they did not see Jesse, and that's a big hole if he was standing at a squad car. Bear in mind that these were not West Memphis cops either. There's no evidence to support that they would willingly lie for Inspector Gitchell or West Memphis detectives to wrongfully accuse Jesse or commit perjury on the stand. Also, Stephanie Dollar knew Jesse pretty well. It wouldn't be a surprise if she simply wanted to help Jesse despite what he's done, or if her accounts were motivated memory, leaning helpful without the intention to lie. Number 2, Brett made a FOIL request finding lab results, revealing no sperm on one of the pants and other DNA reported, ruling out the West Memphis Three. So let's get into this. On August 6th, Brett posted the following on the Prosecutors Podcast website. He filed a FOIL request, or Freedom of Information Act, for those that want to know the acronym. Key finding from the Bodie January 25th, 2007 report was especially interesting. The lab found no semen or sperm DNA on the jeans that were submitted for testing. Furthermore, the DNA from the epithelia cells, and we're going to call them E cells for short, found on the jeans didn't match Damian Eccles, Jason Baldwin, or Jesse Miskelly. To Brett, this directly contradicted the story Jesse Miskelly told police, which claimed that Damian had ejaculated on the jeans. But does it really? I spoke with another West Memphis Three case researcher, and the thoughts are it would be very hard for sperm to survive water. E cells, which is skin that lines the surfaces of the body, could be from the person who made the jeans even. Depends on where the cutting was. secondary transfer cannot be ruled out. Now, semen is more easily degraded and washed off, especially in dirty water, than E-cells. These cells are larger and more likely to be embedded into the weave of the fabric, while semen and sperm sit on top. Also, there were 2 cuttings from the pants. This is only one of those. The other was previously tested and was basically inconclusive, but did test positive for the sperm fraction test. That one isn't mentioned in that report at all, and that report being the one that Brett put on the website. So while the potential sperm is inconclusive, this doesn't disprove the account Jesse told. I also don't expect a low IQ, gas-huffing kid drunk on whiskey to tell the perfect story or even in the correct order. And while Jesse is going to highlight what he surely remembers, he's also going to fill in the blanks. Did Brett miss this part where Jesse said, "I don't know, I was drunk"? Maybe Brett has an incredible vivid memory when he's drunk on liquor to skew his perception, but most people don't have that remarkable skill to remember so clearly, even when sober. On a different note, I did find this part of the FOIA request interesting. The controversial 2011 DNA results weren't provided in the request. The state doesn't have them in its possession, debunking past claims by Bob Ruff that they did. Now, do I think that those results will reveal anything conclusive? I don't know. It's hard to say because we don't have them. But most likely, it was just more inconclusive nonsense that wouldn't have helped the West Memphis Three in their evidentiary hearing that they were supposed to have in 2011 before copping to a plea deal. Either way, no matter how you want to slice it, those results were not going to help the West Memphis Three. In conclusion, while I'll credit Brett and Alice for avoiding the typical true crime narrative and for obtaining some interesting information through their FOIA requests, my praise for their series ends there. They rely too heavily on their own speculation rather than allowing the evidence, both in and outside of trial, to speak for itself. It feels as if they were scared to conclude the men were guilty, a position that's particularly surprising for 2 people with legal backgrounds and who are prosecutors. You've also got to remember this. While I don't discredit their credentials, they're in the business of entertainment. That's their main objective. They pull you in to make money. If there wasn't any money in it, they wouldn't be doing it. Think about it. Do you really believe they stand behind every single product they're paid to advertise? Let's be real. It reeks with insincerity. Anyway, ending it here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you believe in what I do. It goes a long way to help the channel. It's never about money, but about information, awareness, and the truth. And of course, I'm not perfect. I make my share of mistakes, but I do my best to correct them. Having said that, I'm generally correct. I'm Rick Mullinax. This is Burn After Reading, and I'll catch your ass down the road. Later.
Burn the lies, burn the fear inside myself, and burn it all again. It's the right time to escape this.